Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Sport proudly presents a night of World Championship Boxing. All sponsored here by StubHub, Dapperbet and JD Sports as we join our Sky Sports audience. A very special hello to everybody joining us here on Facebook Live. It's time to meet the boxers. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome from Liverpool, Ricky Starkey.
So welcome to your call, everyone. The start of what should be a really, really good evening of boxing. And this is Ricky Starkey, who's taken a call at pretty late notice to step in and fight Gamal Yafai. I had a long chat with him about 2 or 3 hours ago, just as he was about to weigh in, and he is bang up for this. He always is. He's the kind of fighter who, having turned pro quite late, up to 10 years in the army, hence the regalia, just wants to test himself, fight good fighters, and discover just how good he is himself. Had a decent amateur career, boxed for the army as well, was a combined services champion, had a few on the unlicensed circuit. And these kinds of fighters, Darren, are always interesting to see, because he's not just come here to make up the numbers against Gamal Yafai. He knows how good Yafai is, but he wants to try and measure his own ability.
Of course, what makes him dangerous is they've got absolutely nothing to lose. Gamal is a huge favourite, so he can come here and almost just enjoy the moment and enjoy the fight and try and make a statement and a name for himself.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring the undefeated Gamal Yafai!
It's been a bit of a frustrating, well, last 18 months really for Gamal Yafai. Picked up an injury doing box jumps in the gym last October, which meant he couldn't appear on a home show against Sean Davis, so he was out for a while after that. Then he came back in Germany in March. Then he and Davis did eventually fight, and Yafai won in May to pick up the WBC international title, but hasn't managed to get anything going since. He was hoping to get a crack at the British, but it hasn't happened.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the action underway then. This is 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. Introducing to you, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the green trunks trimmed with red. Weighed in at 9 stone, 5 pounds and 6 ounces. Takes part in his 8th professional contest. Coming to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the Battalion Stallion, a.k.a. the Nightmare. Ladies and gentlemen, from Liverpool, the King's man, that is Ricky Starkey. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 9 stone, 4 pounds and 6 ounces, with an undefeated perfect professional record of 12 contests, 12 wins, 5 inside the scheduled distance. Former member of the Elite Team GB, former ABA champion, a former undefeated Commonwealth champion. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the reigning WBC International Silver Super Bantamweight champion from Birmingham, England, the Beast, Gamal Yafai! Timekeeper and the bell is Michael McCann, and our referee in charge of the action is Mr. Mark Bates. This is 6 3-minute rounds.
When you both know the rules, you know what's expected. When I tell you to break, you take a step back immediately. Keep your punches up, obey my commands, and protect yourselves at all times. You understand? Touch about, touch about.
So here we go, opening fight of the night. As I say, it's been a bit of a frustrating spell for Yafai, who may well have itchy knuckles, and this could be quite an entertaining one. Starkey, as we were discussing, comes to fight and comes to give things a go, but Yafai is a different kind of fighter than he's been in with before.
Seconds up, first down.
So Gamal Yafai in the white, Ricky Starkey in the green and red, and Starkey immediately looking to try and get on the jab and make it clear to Yafai that he is not here just to box off the back foot and try and nurse his way through these 6 rounds. That's not how he does things. This listed as super featherweight because they both weighed in on the day. Yafai is still very much a super bantamweight. This is good from Starkey to start with, Darren.
Yeah, like I say, he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's come out sort of all guns blazing and full of ambition. But I'm a big fan of Gamal. I remember him in the amateurs, watching him at the GB setup, and there was one occasion, there was a sparring session with a Philippines team that come over, and everyone stopped to watch Gamal against his sparring partner because it was absolutely explosive. It was a war.
Well, he felt he just went slightly stale on the GB setup and needed a new challenge, and hence he turned professional. He's picked up a Commonwealth title. He's got that minor WBC belt as well. He wanted a crack at the winner of Jazza Dickens against Thomas Patrick Ward for the British, but they had other ideas. Ward won the title and defended against Sean Davis, winning on points recently, and Yafai took care of Sean Davis in pretty emphatic fashion, really. It's an imperfect science, matching fighters' records and how they've done against common opponents, but there is some merit in it, and I think that would be a good fight between Ward and Yafai, but I think I know where my money would be. Starkey looking to throw the left hand coming off the ropes.
Starkey's felt the power of Gamal. He come out very lively, but he's managed to land a short right hand, Gamal, and he felt it, Starkey.
Well, 10 years in the army. Blown up by an IED, he told me, when he was on duty in Iraq. Mentally, he's had to come through a lot a few years ago. His brother Jamie was shot in Kazakali in Liverpool and lost his life, so he's been through it, Ricky Starkey. He's a very switched on, focused kind of an individual. And I think the regime and the demands of boxing quite suit him. Yafai looking for a left to the body, and he's got Starkey backed up in the corner. He doesn't need to be there.
Looking good, looking strong, looking confident. Yafai wants to get back, fighting for titles in meaningful fights. Good start, good opening round.
Starkey looking to try and put together the 1-2. Jab to the body there from Yafai. Closing stages of what has been a busy opening round. Max McCracken in the corner there. Trains his brother too, Cal. He's here inside, as is always the case.
There was a nice right to the body there, followed it up with a left hook, and I think that's where Starkey felt the power. I mean, if you look at Gamal's record, it doesn't sort of show he's a big puncher. I mean, there's 5 knockouts there, but he can punch, like I say, referring back to that sparring back in the GB setup. We can see he can punch there, but it was a good opening start. Starkey come out and full of ambition, but I think he's well up against it here with his fight.
So into the second, a lively opening between these two. Gamal Yafai in the white, Ricky Starkey in the green and red, and Starkey, as we know, took this at fairly late notice. He's had a few cry-offs recently. He was telling me it's not been that easy to get fights in the book. We saw him against Sean McGoldrick in Belfast back in June over 6 rounds, and he lost that fight, but he was very much in it. I think the referee scorecard really gave him due credit for what he brought to that fight. Got a draw last time out against the 4-0 Omar Dusari, but he's taking a few in the red corner, away to our right-hand side, and just as he looked like he might be in trouble, managed to move forward and extricate himself.
Gamal doing the right thing, holding the centre, working well off his jab, moving his head, not taking any shots. Starkey is throwing some wild swings. Gamal boxing nicely. Some marking on the face of Starkey, around the nose. Been on the end of a few jabs already.
Well, it's interesting you're talking about watching him spar, because if you talk to his 2 brothers, Cal and Galal as well, who's still up in Sheffield on that GB squad, they both avoid him really for sparring. As brothers, they've always sparred each other, but they don't really like it with Gamal because they describe him as a bad sparrer, that he always has to have the final word. He is the biggest of the three anyway, and if you hurt him, he'll make sure that he does the same to you and worse.
Yeah, I can understand that, and like I say, I mean, this one I keep talking about, it was absolutely explosive, it was amazing. But this is good from Gamal. He's boxing, he'll want some rounds. Not been out since May, so it's a good opponent for him, I think. Good body shot there from Gamal as well. I think Starkey felt that.
I think he did. You could just see him wilt slightly. He tried to line up a big right hand here, Starkey, and I get the impression he's beginning to feel the power here and feel the difference between Yafai and the other fighters that he's been in with, because Yafai is a distinct step up, and Starkey may well choose, I think, to go out in a blaze of glory, possibly throw and see what happens, because we're nearing the end of the second. He can't take another 4 rounds of this. Left to the body from Yafai again.
It's the body shots are doing the damage here. Starkey doesn't like these at all. And Gamal's got total disregard for Starkey's work. He's defending really well, moving his head, taking him on the gloves. This is a really good display.
Starkey trying to sink in that right hand and just keep Yafai at bay if he can. Yafai just tucking up. Flicking jab there from Starkey. Touch of gloves, but a bit more blood coming from that nose of Starkey as Yafai just moves back to that blue corner. Well, there they are. Cal on the right-hand side, the WBA Super Flyweight champion. Galal on the left. He got to Rio with the GB squad in 2016. He was at the World Championships in Hamburg over the summer as well, the European Championships in Ukraine before that, where we picked up a medal. So there's an enormous amount of ability in that family.
It's a lovely right to the body there. He's working the body really well, Gamal. And Starkey definitely feeling these shots. Starting to feel the pace already as well. I know he's a standing, but Gamal working really, really well.
Seconds up. Round 3.
So into the third. The body punching was a big feature of his last fight, Yafai's, against Sean Davis. Going up to the gym 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, and Cal, the older brother, saying that he'd sparred Davis and that he felt he might be a bit weak to the body, and that was something they were looking at. And on the night, they absolutely exploited it. Gamal just took Davis down. He was extremely game and courageous, but he couldn't live with Yafai that night.
I'll be surprised if it goes past this round here. Gamal's come out really lively, looking strong, looking powerful. Starkey's going to have to get moving, get on those feet, because Gamal really starting to load up now, head and body, good variation. When he puts them together, he really, really is pleasing on the eye. That's a good left hook there.
And he just dipped to the knees a bit there, Starkey. And manages to get away from the ropes, tries to let his hands go a bit himself, but he just doesn't have enough power, enough snap really to discourage Yafai in any way. He would have just wanted an outing before the end of the year. Got Eddie Hearn sitting just away to our left-hand side. It would be very interesting to see what is the plan for him, Yafai, because if a British title shot just doesn't materialise, and it doesn't always, there are plenty of fighters down the years who have gone beyond it without getting the opportunity to fight for it, and therefore have never won it, they may just move past it.
I mean, if the opportunity presents itself to fight for a title that's more prestigious, though I don't think there's many, British title really is a special title.
Well, Starkey goes down, and I think that's just an accumulation of punches to the body more than anything else. He was just coming forward, and to be honest, he looks pretty exhausted. And the referee, Mark Bates, our trialist referee, just waves this one over. There were no complaints at all from Ricky Starkey, and Yafai has had a good bit of action there, a nice workout just to blow away a few cobwebs after what has been a fairly inactive year. Injury ruled him out at the start of the year, and since that win against Sean Davis, I don't think it's been very easy at all to find him opponents. But he would have been glad just to get the gloves on, get out under the lights tonight, go through all the rituals of fight night, making weight to an extent, weighed in on the day today. That's why this was listed as super featherweight. He's very much a super bantamweight still, Max McCracken was telling me. But he's ready to go, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It was a very good fight. I mean, sometimes very difficult fights, not to get through, but to get motivated for when you've got a stand-in like Starkey, but an ambitious stand-in he was. But there, I mean, Gamal was well on top. I couldn't see him going past this round, Starkey, and it was great variation, head and body. He landed a body shot there. He almost pushed him down, but I'm sure Starkey felt the shot, and yeah, it's onwards and upwards now for Gamal.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Timekeeper Michael McCann has recorded a time of 1 minute and 59 seconds of the third round. Referee Mark Bates has stopped this contest. Starkey in no position to continue, therefore your winner, and he remains undefeated, the Beast, Gamal Yafai! Let's show our appreciation, please.
So it was the win that we expected from Gamal Yafai, but Ricky Starkey, as we outlined at the start, came to see what he could do here. Yafai, though, was a step up from the other opponents that he's been in with, but full credit to him for taking the fight. He took it late, and Yafai, I'm sure, would have got more out of that, getting a couple, 2-3 rounds under his belt than he would have done from a quick blowout. So it was worthwhile for him as well, and he's clambered down to ringside, where he's alongside promoter Eddie Hearn, and they'll both be talking to Andy Scott.
Gamal, congratulations. Your first fight since May, stoppage but defeat, not a bad way to end the year.
Yeah, it was not bad. It's good to get back. Felt a bit rusty in there, but is what it is. I feel as the fight went on, felt getting back to my normal ways, but it was good to get the stoppage. Yeah.
Body shots, I should say, were a mark of your win over Sean Davis, and they seem to work for you tonight as well. Do you think that's a real asset of yours?
Yeah, I don't really. Before I just used to try to look for the headshots, but I didn't realise that I was pretty good at throwing a body shot as well. So. But yeah, I think he could have continued, but it was only going to happen in the next round or maybe towards the end of that round.
We'll grab a word with Eddie Hearn in a second, but what do you want to achieve in 2018?
I just want to be back fighting a bit more regular and fighting in big fights.
Eddie, who have you got lined up for Gamal moving forward? What's the fight that you want to make?
Well, I want to see him fight a big fight. I want to see him fight Gavin McDonnell. Is a fight that I think a lot of people in Britain would like to see. Gavin's ranked top 5 with the WBC. Gamal's in that position where he needs a few more rounds before he's ready to gamble, and I think that's what we're doing. We're playing a bit of a waiting game now. That's why tonight's important. I'd like to get him out really early in January as well, so he can get another fight. And then I think he's ready to go. You know, he's got to take that step. He's got to gamble. He's won Commonwealth titles. He's either got to fight for the British title or he's got to go on and fight someone like Gavin McDonnell. I think he's done the rounds. He's done the apprenticeship, and I think he's ready for that kind of test. So it's just a case now of getting the final rounds in before he gambles. But you know, I think he's improving, he's ready for those kind of fights. And I think him and Gavin McDonnell is a really good fight. And I think if we can get one more in January, it's a fight we could see on the Kell Brook card.
Fight in January, so enjoy your Christmas.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We continue the action with 6 rounds in the middleweight division. Please welcome to the ring from Hordern, Greg O'Neill.
Greg O'Neill made the trip down yesterday, had a quick chat with him in the weigh-in, and he was nice and relaxed, and I think he feels that he's coming here tonight as the away fighter on a really good, busy show with nothing to lose. 5 wins and 3 defeats from his 8 fights so far. He's had a bit of a stop-start career, quite a big break in the middle there at one point, but he certainly sees this as a big opportunity.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Felix Cash.
Felix Cash is a fighter who Tony Sims, who's walking just behind him there, his trainer, definitely feels is ready to go, is ready to be let off the leash to an extent. He's had a couple of injuries which have kept him out for spells during his career so far, and it's been a bit frustrating for him to watch his gym mates make progress, whilst his has been a little bit more sedate, but he certainly has some ability. We saw that last time out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We continue the action with 6 rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing to you, firstly, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks trimmed with white, weighed in at 11 stone and 9 pounds with an 8-fight record, 5 wins, 1 inside the scheduled distance, and 3 defeats from Horden. Please welcome Greg O'Neill. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks trimmed with silver, weighed in at 11 stone, 8 pounds and 4 ounces, with a undefeated professional record of 6 contests, 6 wins, 4 inside the scheduled distance. A former member of Team GB. Ladies and gentlemen, he won 2 junior ABA titles, was a senior ABA finalist. It's time to meet the undefeated Felix Cash. Timekeeper of the bell is Michael McCann, our referee in charge is Mark Bates, and this is 6 3-minute rounds.
You both know the rules, you know what's expected. When I tell you to break, you take a step back immediately. Keep your punches up, obey my commands, and protect yourselves at all times. Do you understand? Good luck.
Seconds up, first round.
So 6 rounds of middleweight. Felix Cash in the blue and silver, Greg O'Neill in the red and white. Cash, the house fighter here. Last time we saw him was on the Next Gen show on September the 1st. He stopped Fernando Heredia in the first round, and it was a good stoppage too. A couple of left hands. He followed them up, took a step to the right-hand side, rammed an uppercut straight up the middle. It was a quality finish, and there's a body shot there that has been felt by O'Neill.
Greg O'Neill started very, very quick there, and, you know, I think he's left himself wide open to that body shot. Felix Cash very well picked with the left hook to the body, and then hits Greg O'Neill on the back after it. You know, he will target the body now going forward, Felix Cash, and see what more reactions he can get. There's another one landed there.
And he just wilted again there. And
that should have been a counter, in my opinion. He's seen enough.
Waved it over. He was slightly confusing what the referee was doing there, to be honest. He didn't seem to pick up the count, but he's waved the fight over, and Cash again has got another very, very quick win here.
I think what it is, and I think Greg O'Neill was in no position to continue. You know, you could see he was completely deflated from the body shot, and, you know, he just couldn't catch his breath as the referee asked him to come forward. He didn't respond, and, you know, rightly the fight was stopped. It's a very good stoppage by Felix Cash. As we've seen, Greg O'Neill only has 1 stoppage loss on the resume, and tonight is a very impressive stoppage and very quick from Felix Cash.
Well, Felix Cash, as mentioned, is somebody who is anxious, really, keen to make up for a bit of lost time. He's in terrific condition. Been over in Florida recently training with the likes of Cheeseman Cordina, Martin Ward and his matchroom colleagues, and he gave Greg O'Neill one on the back there as O'Neill turned, but right from the very start there he was under the cosh, wasn't he?
He was, and like I said, I thought O'Neill started too fast. He left himself wide open for the counter left hook that's coming right there. That's the one that sank him, and then he comes round the back and hits him again there, just as you've seen. You know, there's no one that stands out so far on Felix Cash's record. I think the most competitive person he's boxed is Jay Byrne, and he beat him on points over 6. So his career so far is littered with quick KOs, and, you know, we've got a first-round knockout on his debut, then points in the second that time he's out, another first-round KO, then another first-round KO, second round, a win on points last time, and then this time there's a quick destruction of Greg O'Neill, so impressive going forward.
Well, it will be interesting to find out what is next for him, because Danny Butler's a Southern Area champion, a very experienced fighter to have that kind of title, but I know they fancy that one. Let's get the final announcement from John McDonald.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Timekeeper Michael McCann recorded a time of 54 seconds of the first round, and referee Mark Bates has stopped this contest with O'Neill in no position to continue. Your winner, and he remains undefeated, it's Felix Cash. We show our appreciation, please, for Greg O'Neill.
So Felix Cash with the win. I mentioned Danny Butler there, who's been around for a long time. He challenged our own Darren Barker for major titles at one point. That was when Butler was a young man. He wasn't really up to the task at that stage, but he's a Southern Area champion. I went to the gym a couple of weeks ago, the Matchroom gym, and Tony Sims feels that Cash is ready for that now, that he doesn't need holding back anymore, and the man himself is just strolling over to ringside, the pair of them, so we'll find out there with Andy Scott.
Felix, you obviously enjoy boxing here at the York Hall. That's 2 very quick back-to-back wins. Talk us through that win tonight.
Yeah, he came out, got behind the jab, and he come in swinging, he left himself open, and I picked a lovely little body shot, and a bit hurt him, and then obviously just finished him off.
How do you reflect on the past 12 months? Has it been a bit stop and start with the injuries that you've had?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare year, to be honest, injury-wise. But, for only the third time out here, I should have been out about 6 or 7 times. Probably would have been even fighting for a title on this bill. But it's one of them things, I've been working in the gym. It's good time off with Tony. And working on a few different things, my defence and everything else. And the show tonight.
Can you put your finger on what it's been that's causing these injuries? Do you think you're injury-free now? Is that all behind you?
Yeah, I'm completely injury-free now. It was just, little niggle tear there. I got cut last time out the week of the fight. So that wouldn't really call that an injury. It's a bit of bad luck, really. But, it's one of them things. What can you do? Moving forward, do you think you're ready for a step up in class now? Someone that can take you a few rounds? Yeah, definitely. I'd like to fight for the English or the Southern Area. I know Elliot Matthews got it now. If he wants to fight, then we'll have that.
Danny Butler's actually got the Southern Area. Is that a fight that you'd be interested in?
I'm interested in him too. If he wants it, we can have it with him and all.
What do you want to achieve by the end of next year? If we were sitting down here at the end of 2018, where do you want to be? Well, at the end of the year, hopefully, I'll be in the contender for the British or have the British. But I have to wait and see. Obviously, I've got to see how fight by fight, how it goes. But, I'll leave up to my team, Tony and obviously Eddie, to fight next. And I'll just work hard in the gym. And when the opportunity comes, I'll be ready. Trainer Tony Sims, Felix alluded to it there. It's been frustrating with the injuries. How good can he be if those injuries are well and truly behind him now?
Well, it's a bit like Conor Benn when he was injured early in the year. Same thing happened to Felix. He had an operation on his knuckle, so it kept him out for a few months. But what he done was he stayed in the gym every day and kept learning. And sometimes it ain't always a bad thing when they're young. So he's learned a lot in the gym this year, and that was a great win for him there. I was in a Go-Go's corner when a Go-Go boxed him and had an hard 6 rounds of him, and he's just blown him away in 54 seconds. So, he needs to step up the caliber opponent now. But I think he definitely British champion here, this kid.
Let's have one last quick word with your promoter, Eddie Hearn, Felix. Eddie, it's not easy matchmaking when it comes out like that. I know it's 2 back-to-back very quick wins now. What can you do to bring someone in that's going to take Felix a few rounds?
Well, it is tough because we've already spoken to Danny Butler's team and Elliot Matthews' team as well. And they're not lining up to fight Felix Cash, and they're definitely not going to be lining up to fight him after that. So, but he's ready for that step up now. Like Tony said, sometimes when you've been out of the ring, he's in the gym, learning, he's maturing. There was a lot of frustration in that performance tonight, a lot of spite because of the year that he's had. But there's a lot of fighters on this bill tonight who have almost finished their apprenticeship, and I think Felix Cash is virtually one of them as well. So, Southern Area, English title level, moving into British title eliminators, and a shot at the British title at the end of 2018. I think he's good enough. He's sparring with all the top fighters and more than holding his own. He's looking great in the gym, great in the ring. And I think he's going to be a talent in the middleweight division.
Felix, well done. Onwards and upwards.
Well, Felix Cash there. Good win for him, just outlining the plans ahead for him, and plenty of action coming up from York Hall this evening, a really bumper bill. In London's boxing mecca, I think you were describing as in Bethnal Green. We've got the likes of Ted Cheeseman, Joe Cordina, Lawrence Okoli, Josh Kelly, Conor Benn, rising stars one and all. We expect them to get the wins, although Ted Cheeseman is in a very interesting fight against Tony Dixon. But top of the bill, of course, is Katie Taylor defending that WBA lightweight title against Jessica McCaskill.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
Katie
Taylor. Can she win a world title less than a year since turning professional? Irish eyes are smiling. 6 world titles as an amateur. Now she's a world professional champion.
Well, this was always the plan. This was always what was in mind. Eddie Hearn, who's joined us, myself and Tony Bellew. 26th of November last year, Wembley Arena, when she made her debut. She was always going to move fast. And people expected her to, but saying it and planning it and achieving it are 2 different things.
Yeah, and it's nice when it works out. Obviously, whenever you sit down with a fighter, you have to have a plan. Some people have a plan that's unachievable, but we try to have a plan that's achievable. And with someone like Katie Taylor, it is achievable because of how good she is, because of the pace that you know that she can move at, because of the draw that you know she is as well. So we sat down with a realistic plan to say that within 12 months, we want you to get a shot at the world title. And obviously, back in October, on the 28th of October, she became a world champion. That never feels like enough for someone like Katie Taylor. You know, she wants to go on, dominate the division, unify the belts, and obviously move up. And you know, this is, for me, the first fight where I've been a little bit nervous, because I've been around McCaskill and Rick Ramos, and I just know that McCaskill is dangerous. I know her mentality. I mean, you were there, Andy, in Cardiff. Anahi Sanchez, the body language wasn't great, was it, on fight week? But then all of a sudden on the night, we got this completely different character of someone that refused to quit, that got hurt, that continued to battle away in the fight. Something that her body language during the week really didn't look like was going to be the case. With McCaskill, you have someone that is fired up. You've got a team behind her who really believe she can become world champion tonight. She's a big puncher, and I felt like Katie Taylor took too many shots in Cardiff. She was loading up with the right hand, she was trading a bit too much. I think tonight, and her team know as well, she has to be much smarter tonight. She has to use her boxing ability. Don't give this girl in McCaskill opportunities to land with success, or to give her a way into the fight, because technically she should be much too good. She should be much too good for everybody in the division, but she does love to fight. She does love to stand and trade, and she loves to excite. And, you know, this is, like I said, it's the first fight where I've been particularly nervous about, because all the other fights, you just presume Katie is that good, she's going to deal with everything.
And Tony, we were touching on it there, the belief that Jessica McCaskill has. I spoke to her on the phone about 2 or 3 weeks ago, had a good chat with her at the weigh-in and at the press conference earlier this week, and you know better than anyone that that belief is absolutely key. It's absolutely paramount to achieving anything in boxing, but particularly when you get to the higher level. And the demeanour about her is one of somebody who has come here to win, and that she really believes she can win.
Well, she's going to have that belief. She's not coming here to lose. She will come here to fight. And the thing that gives fighters a big belief in what McCaskill has is the punch. She has the punch to be able to hit Katie Taylor. There's no 2 ways about that. So, you know, it's a fantastic fight. I think it's come at the right time for Katie Taylor. The last fight, I thought she done really, really well, but made it a little bit hard. I think Eddie's right. You know, I think she could have won easier and a little bit quicker, but it is what it is. You know, she got the job done on the night, and I just want to see this turn into, I wouldn't say fireworks too early tonight, but I think the body work might show later on in the fight tonight, and I think that's what will be the defining answer.
We've got plenty of other good fights on the bill too. Martin J. Ward stepping up to European level against Huli Hinair. A really interesting one for me at light heavy between Miles Shinkwin and Jake Ball. A look at Josh Kelly too, and Conor Benn. For Martin J. Ward though, Eddie, it's the next logical step, because super featherweight's so intensely competitive at the world level. But this guy went into the 8th with Miguel Roman, and that, after the weekend, looks like a pretty good effort.
Yeah, and, you know, I feel like Martin Ward's gone a bit under the radar, really. You know, this is a guy who has won the British title outright in some tricky defences. You know, Ronnie Clark, particularly Anthony Kakachi as well, Maxi Hughes. He's won the Commonwealth title as well. Now he's stepping up to European level. The jump between domestic, European, and then world level in the 130-pound division is huge. And this is the next, like you said, the logical step up now. It's a big step up from Cacace, but it's also still another huge step towards world level. But this is the right progression for Martin Ward. And you know, let's also understand, if he wins tonight, he's won the British outright, he's won the Commonwealth title, and he's the European champion. And, you know, I think there's some big fights out there for him, but bridging that gap between European and world level in this division is very, very difficult. We've seen that with Stephen Smith, you know, a guy who's dominated at domestic level, who's gone on and won European titles, and the world title level is such a huge jump. He's been close, but, you know, obviously suffering the ear injury on Saturday is going to set him back a little bit. But if Martin Ward can win tonight, I feel that Ward and Smith is a good fight for both guys and a big fight for British boxing as well.
I really like that fight at light heavyweight. I mentioned it against between Jake Ball and Miles Shinkwin, because with Jake Ball, he's made one step up before against JJ McDonough. That was on Katie Taylor's debut, actually, at Wembley Arena, and it didn't work out. He got blown away in a round. It can happen. He's gone away and learned from it, he says, but now he steps back up again. For Miles Shinkwin, he'll happily admit this, in the two biggest fights he's had so far, for the English and for the British, he just hasn't turned up. He's changed trainer, he's with Don Charles now, and he feels that he's a European-level fighter, but he just needs to show it. But he knows that really it's all on the line for him tonight, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this. He thinks that if he wins tonight, then you'll put something in front of him to sign.
Well, we may do. I mean, it's a big fight domestically. I disagree with his thoughts that he's a European-level fighter at the moment, because he's yet to show it. And, you know, what he can show against Jake Ball is that he could be a British title potential winner if he can come through a fight with Jake Ball. Jake Ball has stepped up before. He made a catastrophic error in that fight. He learned a hell of a lot, and Tony will tell you, sometimes in defeats like that, you learn more than you will in your whole career. That night could change Jake Ball's entire career for the better, even though he got knocked out in the first round, and it was a heavy knockout. But fighters like Miles Shinkwin will look at that defeat and know that there could be a weakness or a chink in the armoury of someone like Jake Ball. I feel like if this fight was a fight to go, Shinkwin could be the favourite in this fight. But Jake Ball's almost got those demons away in that fight that he had here. Over 10 rounds, looked good, got hurt, and I see him as the slight favourite against a very motivated Miles Shinkwin tonight.
Well, thanks very much, Eddie. Great action to come later on. Plenty of boxing, all on Sky Sports Action, Sky Sports Mix from 6 p.m. Headlined, of course, by Katie Taylor against Jessica McCaskill. Make sure you join us for it.